What's up, everybody? We are back here with another exciting episode of Eagles on the Air, the podcast brought to you straight from the Salesian High School broadcast studio. I'm Steve Celestio, your host, and today we got a great guest for everybody. That is Mr. Nick Federico, the chairperson of the History Department, a graduate of the class of 2009. Mr. Federico, welcome to Eagles on the Air.
Thank you, Mr. Celestio. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. Now, Nick, if you've seen our podcast so far, you know that I'm going to start you off the same way I start all of our guests off. And please, without further ado, tell me, what is your Salesian story?
Thank you. So my Salesian story goes all the way back to 2003 when I was an altar server at St. Benedict School in the Bronx. And one of the other students from St. Benedict's that I was serving with, he was 2 years older than me, he mentioned that he was going to Salesian High School. And I had never heard of it, and he talked so highly of it, and I said, you know, I want to go to their open house. I want to see what Salesian has to offer. And when I got to the open house, my mother and I, just the second we were on the campus, this beautiful campus with the trees and all the different buildings, and I saw, wow, it felt like a college campus. And then we took the tour and we saw all the classrooms and all the different programs that the school had, and it just seemed like an incredible place. And so the following year, when in 2004, I did a shadow day, a spend a day, and I followed a student around and followed their schedule, and I got to go into actual classrooms. And I'll never forget Brother Manny's class. He's Father Manny now, and he just had such an exciting lesson, and it seemed just like a fun place to be. And I went home that night and I said to my mother, I said, that's where I want to go to school. And I just felt it. And then I started as a freshman in 2005. And I remember Father Pat had us all in the chapel, and he said, you may not know what it is yet, but you were brought here for a reason. And I remember sitting in the chapel and I was like, I wonder what that reason could be. And here I am now in 2024, all those years later, and Father Pat's message definitely is something I keep in mind, because I think he was definitely right that I was meant to be here. And so I had a great 4 years here as a student. I learned a lot. I was inspired. I've wanted to be a teacher since I was in first grade. I remember looking at my first grade teacher and saying, that's what I want to do. But I didn't quite know what I wanted to teach. And so my history teachers here, they really sparked an interest in me, and I watched them and I said, that's what I want to teach. I want to teach history. So I learned a lot of great things. I got involved in the play. I was in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. I was in All Shook Up, and that really broke me out of my comfort zone, made me become a little bit more extroverted, got me more involved. So Salesian taught me a lot of great things in the classroom, but a lot of important life lessons outside of the classroom too. And that's, as you know, that's what it's all about. It's not just a school, it's a home, it's a school, it's a parish, and it's a playground. And so I got to experience that firsthand as a student at Salesian, a really remarkable 4 years. And then I went to Manhattan College for my undergraduate. And once I graduated with my education degree, I did my student teaching at Salesian in 2012, and I kept asking Mr. Flaherty, he was the principal then, I said, Mr. Flaherty, if there's a position, I would love to have it. And sure enough, in August of 2013, he gave me a call. I was in Colorado at the time. Terrible cell phone service, and I was like, I can't believe it, I'm missing Mr. Flaherty's call, but I was able to reach out to him, and I interviewed with him, and that was in August of 2013. And I've been teaching history here ever since.
That is remarkable. It's like a walk down memory lane for me too. I remember I started here as a math teacher in 2006, and Nick was a sophomore in my math AB course. I was lucky enough to be able to teach Nick math his sophomore and senior years. As a matter of fact, I always joke with him because I got the word that Nick Federico was coming back to Salesian to become a teacher. And I said, I knew I impacted him. I know he's going to make a great math teacher. And they said, he's coming back to teach history. I said, we're lucky to have him regardless. But he was my first student to return as a teacher, and couldn't be happier to go from his teacher to his coworker. You mentioned that you came from St. Benedict's in the Bronx. I know that you grew up in the Throgs Neck Country Club area, and that's where so many of our students come from. And now you serve as the chairperson of the history department. So not only did you run the ranks of a regular history teacher, you now run the department. What's that like, turning maybe some coworkers into guys that you're now ultimately responsible for?
Yeah, it was a big honor when Mr. Chisholm asked me to become the chairperson for the history department, and I was very happy to accept. And what I like most about it is that I get to help kind of move the department in the direction that I think is best to help serve our students and to make the courses relevant to the ever-changing times that we're living in, to make sure that we emphasize current events, that our students are aware of the world that they are in and what's going on, because that's part of a big part of what Don Bosco always said, that we have a responsibility to have informed, good citizens. And so I, as chair of the history department, am able to really fulfill that message that Don Bosco gave us and that guidance that he gave us. And it's great, working with Mr. Rivolo and Mr. D'Alessandro. We're a very good team. We work well together. And I think as we go forward in the coming years, that we're going to be able to continue to develop new electives and really projects that continue to meet the needs of a 21st century student.
I agree. And the history department here has always been, since I've been here, I'm sure years before I've gotten here, it's always been such a strong department. And under your leadership, it just continues to thrive.
Thank you.
You hear it so many times, either on the podcast or on our social media channels or just around school. And you mentioned it before about Salesian being a home school, a parish, and a playground. And part of that mission is getting our teachers out there with the kids outside of the classroom. And you're a great example of that. So I know that you've coached and moderated. Can you tell me some of the things that you've gotten involved in with the kids outside of the classroom?
Absolutely. So when I first started back in 2013, there was a need for a handball coach. And Mr. Beal said, if possible, would you be interested in taking this over? And I was like, sure, I'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens. And we wound up winning the B Division championship. And I remember we played at Orchard Beach at the time, and I remember driving back from Orchard Beach, and I was like, this is unbelievable. Like the feeling, the rush that I got from these guys winning this championship you got the CHSA plaque, and they were so excited, and I was so excited. I was like, this is just an incredible, incredible feeling. And so I did that for a number of years. I've been involved in coaching bowling, in our new esports program upstairs. And for a while, we had some chess competitions between us and other schools that I helped moderate, student council, youth ministry. I'm involved with Camp Echo Bay over the summer. And another program that I'm heavily involved in as the program director is the Saturday Academy for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students on Saturday mornings who are just interested in taking some courses and getting a feel for Salesian. So, I've always tried to be available and serve the school and the mission as best as I can whenever I'm needed.
I think you're a great example of it. And when we're in meetings with the administrative team, we're always like, who can help with this? Who can help with that? And your name always pops up. We're like, we got to leave this guy alone. He's too busy. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot. You mentioned that handball team. I remember that handball team very well. And we've gotten a lot of comments on our social medias about this podcast. I've received a lot of emails from guys that have seen it. Could we shout out anybody, any standout players on that handball team?
Oh, from throughout the years?
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. We had James Barry, James Hart, Anthony Hart, Chris Hart, all the Harts, Frank Ramuno. We had Enes Romani, Dianis Gashi, so many guys that, and I know I'm forgetting some of them, but they were just a great group of guys all throughout those years.
I agree. Awesome group of guys. And okay, so I'm going to get a little bit more personal now because, like I said, Mr. Federico was part of what I called my 2-year crew, that group of students that I got to teach twice as sophomores and seniors. And these guys, I mentioned it in podcast number 1, these guys delivered to me my proudest moment at Salesian High School when I was chosen as the 2009 Knicks graduating year, the 2009 Grand Marshal. And I am very interested to know, I've never asked you this before, what has your proudest moment been since working at Salesian?
Just to throw it out there, I voted for you for Grand Marshal that year.
He did tell me. I think I knew that.
So I've had so many moments of pride throughout these years, and it's somewhat difficult to narrow it down. And if I had to pick, I would say that and I'm lucky, there's been a number of times where this has happened, but where a student comes back after graduating, or even while here, but it tends to happen after they graduate, they come back and they say, your class sparked an interest in me, and so now I'm pursuing that field. I'm pursuing history, or I'm pursuing teaching, or I'm pursuing politics. And, they'll say that it kind of all started from my class. And it's just a great feeling to hear that and to realize the influence, that a class can have on a student. And so, like I said, I'm lucky that's happened more than once. And it's just a real remarkable feeling for a teacher to know that you're being heard and that you are having a positive impact on the lives of your students.
If I'm not mistaken, I want to shout you out because I believe you won an award about a year ago.
Yes.
Let's hear about it.
Yeah, so I was lucky to receive an award back in 2021 for the 2021-2022 school year, and it was an award given to me for demonstrated excellence in teaching social studies in the Lower Hudson region. And yeah, it was an honor to receive it. I know I was nominated by Mr. Chisholm, and I got to go and receive the award in person, and it was kind of like a little bit of a celebration of myself and other teachers in the area who they felt really gave a lot to the field of social studies.
It really is amazing because it's not everybody that gets the opportunity to take home an award like that and get that kind of recognition. I don't even have to tell the students that you've taught or the students that are here that you're teaching how lucky they are to have you. To go into the classroom every day, I always applaud you for how well decorated your classroom is and the amount of energy Mr. Federico brings to the classroom. You're the example when I speak to these 8th grade students about guarantees I can make them when they come to Salesian. You're going to get teachers who care. You're going to get teachers who are enthusiastic. You're going to get teachers who are knowledgeable, who are knowledgeable in their subject areas especially. I'm thinking of guys like you in the building, and that makes it easier for me to promote the school.
Thank you. That means a lot.
You brushed up on it before. I want to circle back to one thing you mentioned. A great program you have here is the Saturday Academy program. You mentioned it briefly before, and I just want to hear a little bit more about Saturday Academy because it's a great program that you've had the opportunity to take over to run. And let's hear just a real quick thing about Saturday Academy.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've had it at the school for a long time, but due to the pandemic, it went away, and I proposed to Father Jim that we bring it back, and he agreed, of course, and I put together a proposal, and we started running it again, and it's been very successful. It's an enrichment program. It's completely tuition free. It's for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade boys and girls who have an interest in education or have an interest in all different subjects, and they could come here on Saturday mornings. It's 6 Saturday mornings in the fall, and they have their option between a variety of classes. We offer classes in science, we offer them in technology, in history, in music, and in art. And it's a great chance for them to come see Salesian. It's a great chance for them to further their education, and it's a great chance for them to really see if there's something within education that they may not even realize yet that they're interested in, but it could kind of just spark the interest. And so I'm the program director for that. There's 6 teachers who work the program. And last year we had over 100 students here for those Saturday mornings in the fall. And we're excited. We're going to run it again this upcoming fall in 2024. It'll start at the end of October, and it'll go all the way to the beginning of December. And yeah, it's a great program, tuition free, and it's not about tests and quizzes and homework. It's there for the fun of learning. It's there to see if there's an interest in something that you may not have known existed before.
That's great. And I know that there's a ton of kids who enter Salesian as ninth
Yeah.
graders that are part of Saturday Academy.
Absolutely. So we have some freshmen here now. We have some seniors who are graduating who were part of the program prior to the pandemic. They've often said, I didn't even know about this place, or, I had you or someone else or Marinaccio or Mr. Chelzo or whoever in one of those courses, and it made me want to come here. It got me excited about Salesian. It got me excited about this subject. It got me excited about this program that I didn't even know existed or that I could pursue in a larger way. So it's a really unique program, and I'm very proud to be in charge of it now.
Well, it sounds like I got the unique opportunity to watch you come absolutely full circle from a prospective student to an enrolled student to a success in college, graduated in 4 years with your teaching degree, came back here as a student teacher for the 1 year before getting hired, to becoming a history teacher, and then the chairperson, moderator of 1 million clubs, coach of a few teams. I don't know if there's anything we offer that you haven't done. So you actually make a great guest for the Eagles on the Air podcast.
Thank you very much.
And that's about it for this episode here. I mean, I hope you got an opportunity to listen, to take in everything Mr. Federico had to say. It's been a pleasure having him on. I'm happy to have you as one of our first few guests on the show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
And we're going to continue this on. Look out for further episodes. They're going to be great. I've been having a great time. My guests have been top notch.
You're an excellent host.
I appreciate it. And until next time, Eagles on the Air.